Nick, what is the mood around the team and the intensity of practice been in the last few days after a pretty close game with Wright State?
It's been real intense. We've been trying to get up and down a lot, trying to get our conditioning back. It was number 3 days, but people don't know that those 3 days would affect you like off the court. So we've been trying to get up and down and be real physical because we know it's a physical team that we're playing against. So it's been really intense.
Nick, obviously you want to win every game that you play, and you guys have pretty much done that save for the Arizona State game. Have you guys, in your opinion, do you think you're right about where you thought you'd be at this point with the non-conference schedule winding down? You think you guys have exceeded expectations, or just where do you think the team is right now with one non-conference game left?
I think we were where we expected to be, but I think we can be better defensively. We know we're not the best we can be defensively. I don't think we're as good as we were last year. I feel like we got better offensively. We lost some of our defensive things, so we just got to pick it up defensively, and then I think we'll be exactly where we want to be at.
Where do you feel like you are in year 2?
I feel like I'm doing what I expected to do to shoot the ball better. I think that was one of the things I struggled at. So I think I'm where I'm expecting to be, and I'm gonna keep trying to shoot the ball better.
In your shooting success, how much of that is shot selection? How much of that is just the mechanics of your shot being better?
Me being able to shoot those good shots, I feel like this helped me a lot. Like when I'm open, I feel like this helped me make a lot more shots than be able to shoot a lot of contested shots. So I feel like it helped me a lot.
And Abdul, are you good to go?
Yes, sir.
I mean, like what happened? How painful was it? And when did you feel like you were back to 100%?
I just couldn't move. I had walkthrough before the Wright State game. We were going through walkthrough, and I got hit again at the same spot that I had been. I got hit the game during the Wofford game, so that kind of aggravated it. And we was warming up, and I just couldn't move at all. But I'm 100% right now. So
this is the last non-conference and another tough opponent. I mean. Just to give you guys a history outlook on this game, BYU is the 11th winningest program in the history of college basketball. Every Mormon church in the world has baskets in their sanctuaries. So it's automatic. Everybody in the Mormon culture grows up playing basketball. I lived in Utah. I met my wife in Utah, and I'm very familiar with, their culture, and it's great, awesome, and these guys are no exception. I mean, T.J. Haas, his brother's the all-time leading scorer. His dad played there. It's very similar to us in that they have at least 2 or 3 former players, kids on the team there at BYU. The big kid they have, Childs, is the best big guy we've seen all year. At one point during their preseason, he went 31 at Weber, 31 against Utah State, who they crushed, who's really good, who's about 40 in the net right now, might even be a little better than that. And then they crushed Utah, their arch rival, that they're no longer in the same league with. They were in the same league forever. I worked for Jerry Pym, who was the head coach at University of Utah as an assistant coach for 12 years at UCSB. I played at Weber State. Those inter-school games amongst the state of Utah are a big deal. And he had 31 3 games in a row. This guy is a player. He's going to make a lot of money playing basketball. He is really good. Around the basket, shoots threes, he's second in assists. He's the best guy we've seen all year, and he's obviously on the radar of all the NBA teams. The kid that sat out last year, Emery, is a very good player. Also a brother who's the all-time assist leader in the history of the school, played there. And Nick Emery, really good player. Obviously, Harnett is from Mississippi. I'm sure that's one of the reasons they're playing this game. And, when we go on the road, every player gets a allotted amount of tickets to use to give to family. He's getting every ticket. So he's using every single ticket of BYU's tickets for tomorrow's game. So he's going to have a huge following here and obviously want to play real well for his family and friends who are coming down from the Gulf. But they have numbers. They have a lot of guys that can play, that are good players. I mean, they have some young kids that are Baxter's a very good player. I really like this kid, Ziejas, number 2, who's really a wing playing 4. So they're 4 out around 1. They all, if you go to BYU, it's a prerequisite you can shoot the basketball. And they're a really, really fine shooting team every year. Coach Rose, who I've known since he was a JC coach at Dixie College, is really a good coach. He's won 72% of his games as a major college coach, which puts him 7th of current coaches in the country in winning percentage. That's a big time statement right there. He was a really good player. Played for a guy down at Houston. Played on the Lajuan team that played in the national championship. Was team captain. He was a really good player. He's a very good coach and a really good person. And my hat's off to him. He had a pancreatic cancer, a rare form of pancreatic cancer that is typically a death sentence. 95% of all pancreatic cancer patients die within 5 years. He had a rare form. It's a little different, and he's survived it now. I think we're close to a decade. Every time I see him, I talk to him about it, and goes to the University of Utah, Huntsman Center for Cancer, which is one of the best in the country. John Huntsman, who you all know, the dad, who just since passed away in the last year, started it. It's awesome. And they've really taken care of Coach. And, so it's a really great story. And, BYU is a, special place. Questions?
Go ahead and start with Brett in the second row.
First of all, that thing about hoops in Mormon churches, is that a joke or are you serious? Is that really?
I'm dead serious.
That's
Every single sanctuary, they're all built exactly alike. LDS, every single one has baskets in it. I mean, everybody in church plays basketball, women and men. It's a big part of growing up in a Mormon church is you learn to play basketball.
That's amazing. Okay, Childs. You mentioned Childs. He's a really, really good big for them. What stands out about him? I know he's a good rebounder, but beyond that,
he's got an all-around game. He's really good and physical in the post. He takes it at you. In other words, he creates contact to create space to score. We have some amazing highlights of him. He's a really good athlete. He's incredibly strong. He's a good passer. He can score off the dribble. He shoots 30% from 3, so you have to be out on him from the three-point land. He's a very good foul shooter. He's he's got a complete all-around game. He's athletic and he's skilled. He's a 4-man playing the 5 spot who can do a lot of different things, and they are constantly running the offense through him, which you would do.
Go to the front row and coaches left and Joe.
I was asking Nick earlier, just kind of evaluate where he thought the team was with one non-conference game left, and he was saying that he thought offensively you guys were better than last season, and defensively he thought you guys might be a little bit worse than last season. Is that kind of what you see, and is that kind of a concern?
Well, I told the guys when they got back from Christmas that we're 95th in the country in defensive efficiency, which is not where we want to be to move forward to where we want to go, but we're 14th in offense efficiency, and that's good. That's among the best in the country. So we need to get better at both, but we definitely got to get better defensively if we're going to go where we want to go with our year.
What are some issues you're saying on the defensive side of the ball that you feel like you need to improve on? That's kind of causing those issues?
3-point field goal percentage defense, we're way down the list. I mean, our opponents, and part of it's our opponents. I mean, when we watched the Wofford game yesterday as a team, and you watch some of the threes they made, and same thing with Wright State. I mean, they're shooting almost 35% as a team on the season thus far. That's way too high. That puts us in the bottom half of the country in terms of defending the three-point line. And we were pretty good early on, but as first 3 games, but as competition stiffened, it's something that we've got to get better at. And then, we've got to do a better job just at our rebound margin and continue to grow there. And but I would say that's the biggest thing.
Nick got a lot of experience last year, kind of, I guess, thrown to the fire a little bit and played some big games as well. How far do you feel like he's come in his 1 year so far? And where do you feel like he is right now as a player?
I think he's really improved, and especially his shooting. You know, as we talked about before, he had his left thumb in his shot all last year, and this offseason was all about getting it out of there. You see his three-point percentage is highest on the team. You go back to Dayton game, you know, he makes the key shots to win that game. He's always guarding the other team's best player on the perimeter, as he will again tomorrow. You know, matching up with Haas to start the game. He's our best guy at blocking out defensively, and he came with that. He was well coached in high school. But he's grown as a player. He's getting better, and I'm really excited about Nick. And, you know, his body looks great. And remember, he was hurt. You know, he missed like 17 days with one injury, and then came back for a few days and then got hurt again. That Arizona State game, he was out 2 days prior to that. And, you know, he had some bum luck in terms of coming down on people, and this is how he plays, so tough, so aggressive. But I love Nick. I love Nick as a player. I love Nick as a kid, and he's a good leader. And thing is, he brings it every day. So every single day, there is no different gear than all out with him. He plays harder than anybody on our team on a consistent basis. Every single second he's playing. And I can't think of a better compliment